Hi, Fabi. Thank you so much for joining me. You're the defending champion of this event after winning the Armageddon game against Alireza last year. What are some skills that you trained to prepare for the event this year?
I can't say I did very specific preparation, but I do like that there's not going to be any opening theory, any opening preparation, because we can play, unlimited amount of positions pretty much. So it's a big change from some of my last tournaments, especially the World Cup, where it was very preparation intensive. And now we can just kind of relax. I guess we have a little bit of time before the game, maybe a few minutes, to kind of familiarize ourselves with the starting position and find someone to prepare with a little bit, just a tiny bit. And that's always a fun part, to explore a new position. So I like that format. I like that it's one of the few events where opening theory and preparation doesn't really take much of a role.
So you haven't done something specific. You must have trained a little bit for the event, right? You must have played some training games a little bit, but of course you cannot predict what position you're going to get. So those 15 minutes you're saying are very important. The 15 minutes you get before the...
Yeah, the time we get before, especially if you have a partner who you can, because we're all playing each other, but let's say usually team up with someone, right? And if you have someone who's very creative, so then you can really get, maybe not into the heart of the position, but you can get some fun ideas that you can play and maybe surprise your opponent a bit, because I guess the first instincts are usually pretty similar between players, like what's the best first move and so on. But sometimes you have some creative idea and that can surprise someone.
What do you think is more important in chess 960? Is it pattern recognition, visualization, spatial perception, maybe pawn structure?
Yeah, I think pattern recognition kind of goes a little bit takes a little bit of a backseat. And it's just that natural feeling for where your pieces should go, even in unfamiliar positions. Because of course, players train in like these familiar structures all their lives, in let's say Carlsbad or certain structures where you kind of know where your pieces are supposed to go, just through seeing a lot of games. And in chess 960 or chess 9LX, it's totally different, because a lot of these patterns are just completely new. Like you see things that you don't normally see in regular chess, just piece configurations that just don't happen. So then it's very much like an intuition or a natural feeling, something which you sometimes can't even say what exactly it is that guides you to the right move or to the wrong move. But definitely that's a very difficult skill to have. It's one that's difficult to develop as well, because we don't really train for some of these positions, right? We get very unusual patterns.
Going on from the importance of developing various skills, is there a particular exercise that you find to be effective to improve your visualization skills?
I think when I was younger, I did a lot of calculation exercises, and those definitely helped. I think it's good to develop those early on. Now I don't really do that sort of work anymore. Maybe it's still useful. I guess it is, but I feel like I put the work in when I was young, and now it's usually a different kind of work. But yeah, visualization is of course such a key factor for calculation, and very often calculation mistakes are made because once the position changes so much from the position that you're looking at on the board, then your visualization will start to deteriorate a little bit, and your calculation will go with that. So that's usually where the calculation mistakes happen. It's rarely at the beginning of the variation. It's more once you go deeper and deeper into the line. In terms of training, I think that definitely solving positions and just training, seeing a position very differently from what it is on the board is going to help with that.
You think blindfold chess, or doing it blindfold, is a good thing to do in order to train it? Or
I never really did much blindfold chess. I imagine that it's also a useful way to train, but it's not something that I really focused on, especially when I was younger. And I also deferred to my coaches a bit, because the coach usually takes care of what kind of position that you're supposed to be training on. And blindfold chess was never, let's say, like playing a blindfold game. But of course, blindfold chess manifests in terms of, let's say you see a position and you calculate it and you don't move the pieces on the board, then you are still visualizing. So it's definitely very transferable skills.
Final question, Fabi. Whom are you looking forward the most to play in this event?
I can't say there's the obvious answer would be Gary, but I think everyone is very interesting as an opponent. I can't say that there's like anyone who I'm really like, I can't wait for that game. I think they're all going to be very tough games. Playing Gary, of course, is a very special experience. I do wish that I had the opportunity to play in when he was at his peak, right? But of course, I was
Yeah,
I was just a kid,
yeah.
or even I wasn't even born when he was world champion. But yeah, that's always a special experience, and you still feel the intensity that he brings to the board. But I can't imagine how it was when he was dominant in the chess world and the best player in the world. Then I guess the intensity was even greater, and I can only hear the stories of players who played him during those times.
Thank you very much, Fabi. I wish you good luck and looking forward to seeing you compete in this event.
Thank you.